Mark, welcome.
Hi, Sinem.
How do you see the current proposed IMO regulations affecting the industry in terms of compliance, operations, and costs?
As someone who's been a seafarer, worked ashore, and now sits in a class society, MEPC 83 marks a significant regulatory step by the IMO, introducing the first global framework that combines mandatory GHG intensity targets with a pricing mechanism. We're not just talking targets, we're talking costs. Ships will be measured by the GHG intensity of the fuel, and if they don't meet the baseline, there's a two-tier penalty. First, $100 per ton of CO2 above the direct target, and a $380 if they miss the baseline. Now that's a serious line in the sand. From a ship owner's point of view, it creates a new kind of decision-making pressure. Do I retrofit now, switch fuels, slow steam, or keep doing what I'm doing and just pay the fines? Some owners are already taking proactive steps to decarbonize, either to manage long-term costs, stay ahead of regulations, or meet stakeholder expectations. Others, honestly, they're running profitable fleets and might absorb the penalty, especially while cleaner fuels are still expensive and hard to scale. From the crew side, this will change daily operations. More emphasis on fuel efficiency, stricter reporting, and the rise of alternative fuels on board like methanol or LNG. It's not just about compliance, it's a safety issue too. We're talking new risk profiles. The crew needs to be trained properly, or we're just shifting the risk from the atmosphere to the engine room. And from where I sit now in class, the scope of our work is evolving. We're now involved in verifying GHG intensity data, auditing compliance reports, and reviewing alternative fuel systems. The responsibility is clear: to ensure that new technologies meet safety and regulatory standards, and that compliance translates into real environmental progress. Compared to the fuel EU Maritime, the EU's approach imposes a fixed penalty of 2,400 euros per ton of VLSFO equivalent energy use for non-compliance, alongside mandatory shore power requirements and enforcement tied to port access. It's a regionally focused system with immediate and tangible consequences. In contrast, the IMO's framework is global and more flexible, but its effectiveness will depend heavily on consistent enforcement and whether financial penalties are scaled appropriately over time. Will these rules be enough to drive real change? Possibly, but only if the economics shift. Right now, many ship owners can still afford pollute. If we want real movement, the cost of doing nothing has to outweigh the risk of trying something new. In summary, MEPC 83 establishes the foundational regulatory framework. The next step depends on how decisively the industry moves from basic compliance toward meaningful long-term decarbonization. Thank you for having me.